We are live. We're starting off with a comment, of course. James, welcome. It's good to see you. I'm seeing
Right.
that, yeah, the Pacers were done after Halliburton got injured. I was actually debating beyond about this, but they put up a good fight. I thought they were failed. Yeah, yeah. This is a spot on comment right here. Um, I want to first start off by saying congratulations to the OKC Thunder for being the 2025 NBA champions. It's been a long season. Coach, I'm going to get you up in a second. It has been a long season, and we have new NBA champions. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Coach, I think your background just has a little bit of noise in it, just as a heads up.
Is it me?
Yeah. No, no, no. I think it's Coach. um, yeah, I mean it's this game. Of course, I want to take nothing away from the OKC Thunder, but this game unfortunately took a turn for the worse when I think Halliburton went down. I was debating you about this beyond, of course, because you were watching the game, and the game they had a good pace and everything, and then all of a sudden it's like Halliburton went down, and I said, it's not done, it's not done, but then all of a sudden you see TJ McConnell basically go rogue, and yikes. Before I get to your guys' thoughts, uh, there's a question for you, Coach. Coach, you must have been thrilled by the play of the role players in the finals. Oh, Coach, can you hear us?
Oh, I have you now. Sorry, I lost you
Yep.
there for a second.
Coach,
What
what
was
do
it?
you think? What did you think of the play of the role players and the bench, the depth in the finals?
Well, I mean, it's ushering in a new era. I think it's the super team era is done. It's about having young players on controllable contracts. It's about really doing a good job of drafting, developing, and trades. Indiana did a very good job the last few years on not only drafting but trading. Uh, Oklahoma City, their team has mainly been built through the draft. Hartenstein is a decent free agent pickup for them. Obviously, SGA was never drafted by them, but to identify him when they did, and for him to turn out the way that he has, the best player in the world right now is from Hamilton, Ontario. That's pretty cool. So it's just ushering in a new era. I like it. I like how it's the depth era, maybe you might want to call it. But this was a game tonight, however, that didn't require 10 guys. Required about 8 guys, really.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you have to know when to shorten the bench, but beyond.
well, I just want to give my props because I just want to chew on a little bit on the OKC side. First thing, props to them for doing something. I had my doubts about as a young team. Um, I was never concerned about SGA. I mean,
No.
before this, he's already one of the three best players in the world. I think, as coach says, like, hey man, you can say what you want. I don't care how much analytic guys want to tell me this or anything like that. He's the best player in the world right now. Period.
Yeah,
You, that take that for data, as my man says from Miami Heat. This game, okay.
yeah.
That's my
I mean, all of those things, foul merchant, all this, whatever
yeah.
they said,
So,
it's
yeah.
like it all culminated in this moment.
Well,
To me, I've always said he was the MVP this year. I'm glad that he was able to do it. And then, of course, we see even beyond that, him, kind of taking it home. And throughout the playoffs, he was never really the concern with OKC.
and I also think he learned a little bit through these playoffs that he couldn't just kind of look for a bailout. I'm not saying he's a foul merchant, but I think he did sometimes hope that he would get a foul call and realize, hey man, I can just play through it. And I think as the series went along, he figured that that's why you just got to do. I can't just hope to get a whistle. And I think that's going to be it. And you end up being much more effective overall. I thought tonight, two guys, not really two guys. One guy really been tough on because he was a no-show. He's in a milk carton. I thought Chet played a pretty good game in the second half. I thought Jalen Williams has been pretty decent throughout this whole series, except for Game 6 where he was a disaster. But overall, he was really good. And I thought having Caruso, I mean, he was a big, huge addition to this team. And he paid dividends big time for them. And I think in that sense, the coach's point, in some ways, both teams are kind of built similarly. Their key focal point player was traded at a young age. When in this case here, where another team thought they could be star players or superstar players, they traded for a guy in this case here that was kind of their peak in this case. Obviously, Siakam's a better player overall than Caruso, but guys in this case had championship medal as well too. And then they filled in the blanks with talented draft picks and stuff like that nature, and other guys in this case that were trades too. So they're built very similarly. And I think OKC, the question you have to ask is like, for a decade that haven't had a dynastic type of club yet, we might be on the precipice of something. So we'll see.
The other thing about OKC, really quickly before we turn back to Indiana, they're set up to, compete against next year. I think what is Jalen Williams is still on his rookie scale deal, if I'm not mistaken, and I think Chet as well. Sorry, you guys can hear me, right? I just want to make sure. Okay. Yep. It's just they OKC is poised to win and to play. I saw people put certain players up financially in terms of how much their impact was per point. And if you want to do that and then also include Jalen Williams, he is now a champion, so it doesn't beat that. Champion early as well, so kudos to him. Really happy for him as well. I think that this series is one where, on the whole, no team should be upset in terms of the effort and the amount of pride that they played with. It was definitely a much better series than I think, let's say, ESPN was able to really to give it in terms of what it ended up being. Really, really, really great series. Coach, your thoughts?
You said about Jalen Williams. He averaged 24 points per game in this series. You get that from your second option, you're doing very well. I think I've told you guys, I think I can make an argument. He is Sam Presti's greatest pick, even over Kevin Durant and Westbrook and Harden. I mean, just where they picked him. To find him, who really wasn't too high on people's radars, who came out of Santa Clara, who had to battle up through the combine scrimmages and stuff like that, where he really got noticed, and to go in the first round, I can make an argument someone like him might be his greatest pick. Similar to Masai and Siakam.
I'll say something that I must admit, just on a pure physical stature standpoint. I watched the Game 4 game on like one of those 80-foot screen TVs in a pub or a restaurant. And most of the guys looked as you see on your TV in your household. The one guy that popped in this case from a pure physical standpoint that looked bigger, I didn't realize how big he was when you saw him like a big, huge TV screen, was Williams. Like, he's a big boy. He's not he's not scrawny. He is like a regular screen TV, a 55-inch TV or a 50-inch TV. It doesn't do him justice. When you get him on the big screen, like an 80 or 90-foot screen, it's like, oh damn, he's a big boy. I think the thing you gotta ask yourself, if you're OKC fans, like, how much further can he take his game, right? Because like they might be onto something where like, and this might be actually less pressure for Chet. Chet was deemed to be the second banana. The second banana might not be Chet in this case here. I think
this is what I've been hinting at the whole playoffs. Is
I agree.
Jalen Williams is the dude.
Yeah, he might be the dude.
I understand that there's an element of like, you were picked with X pick, but
yes.
To me, I get that and I understand that. I'm understanding that more than I did before. But at the same time, there's also an element of just like, this dude is the dude. This dude has elevated his game through and through, well beyond his draft level. We actually haven't gotten to Turner yet, but yeah, I did hear about Turner having trouble breathing throughout the series and stuff like that. Not making too many excuses for those who think that I'm making excuses for him. He definitely could have played better. He actually played really well on the defensive end throughout the series. So I think that a lot of people who were giving him flack on the defensive end, I think that those people were largely shut up, to be honest, throughout the series. It's more the offensive end where, as you would say, Beyond, he turned into a bit of a pumpkin of sorts. Mm-hmm. So, I think one other thing, the Pacers were missing someone this entire series, and that would be Jarris Walker.
Yep.
I mean, his presence, having another big body to give Neesmith some rest, because Matherin is not really at that size and doesn't have that like physical stoutness about him to really defend. And also sometimes just defensively, he needs some work. I think Jarvis Walker would have helped a lot. Of course, he went down in the last series. Yeah, I mean that you can't control these things, but you obviously have enough depth to get to the finals. So yeah.
It was on a nothing play too. I think it was game 6 where he got injured late in the game. The game was essentially done. We were going to win the series. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, like, OKC. I mean, we'll see. I mean, props to Mr. Presti. He finally got it done. You know, he did make a big move. So hey,
he was last here in 2012.
Yeah, welcome to the club, Sam. Took you a while, but you know, you're a man. In this case here, everyone preached as if you had one, and you finally now got one. So, you know, props to you. You know, OKC, they drafted well, they've traded well, they made the right moves in free agency. And they still have a lot of growth in this case than a lot of the guys, man. I mean, SJ's 26. You know, he can still get better. We mentioned already Williams. I mean, Lord, if Chet just puts on like 15 pounds, I mean, he could just be a different player if he did nothing else. All those plays where he's getting the hoop, he's just getting knocked around, and he can't finish around it. He put 15, 20 pounds on it. He's going through dudes at that point. Those are and ones. Just that alone. So, you know, I think those three guys, I think they do need one guy off the bench for a little more pop, though. You know, I don't know I don't know who that is. I mean, maybe Topic gets in the mix eventually, and he's that guy. But that bench could be.
It'll certainly help. You know.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, they have the 14th pick.
Who? It's always at the 5th.
Oh,
OKC. Yeah. I mean, they had the ping pong balls not bouncing Philly's way, they would have been in the top 6 or top 5, which is, you know, they're set up really well for the next few years. Their youth, they've identified a trio, right? Two of them are still on their rookie contracts. SGA going to get Supermax, another one or something like that. These guys are going to get max contracts. So,
well, here's the crazy thing: is that next year, like they have 2 years before they have to start paying people.
Yep. Mm-hmm. This is their window because they're not a big market team. But.
No, they're not. But yeah, next year, I think what is it? Jalen Williams is making. I looked it up. He's making just over $6 million, right? Chet's still on his rookie scale deal. He's coming close to the end of that. But I mean, based on the fact that the health has been a factor, he's going to re-up, probably not for a max. So I mean, that right there. So everyone who's like, oh, they're looking at the financial cliff. They're looking great. The only real question is, does Jalen Williams get into? I think he'd have to get one more All NBA, but does he get into the Supermax conversation? Knowing Presti, probably not.
Unless they're going to start cutting back his minutes, he's going to be on the All NBA team next year.
Yeah, but I think you have to have it in the contract clause. They have to give him that type of max, the rookie scale max, and so it's like, you know, Presti might find a loophole around it where he's getting just under that. You know, you basically get like your max, but yeah, because again, you know, Presti, we've seen it before with Presti.
Well, yeah, Harden.
Yep. That's exactly what I was talking about.
I didn't work out so well.
Did not.
Yeah, he learned his lesson from that.
Hopefully, we will.
I should say the owners hopefully learned their lesson from that.
That too. Now, really quickly, can I just go on and TJ McConnell rant?
It's your show.
The Pacer side of things, yeah, your show, man.
Yeah, so just to address the Pacer side of things, I mean, like at one point you had Hero Ball, and it's like and this is why I keep talking about, even for those of you who are focused on the Raptors side of things, like you need proper offensive initiation. Yes. Please, James. No trade talk. Take care, OG. I mean, you have TJ McConnell, right? And it's like you have to learn how to take care of the ball throughout the game. You have to manage and appreciate every single possession, and I think that's really something that's important. You know, like at some point, like you can't just be wasting possessions. And I get it that he can score a little bit, but he needs to at least be paired with someone else who can manage a possession. And it's like when no one else is out there but TJ McConnell Obi Toppin and Tony Bradley, and they're trying to do stuff, that ain't gonna work. I mean, you saw. I asked people. I said, I won't say all the things, but I also say like, at some points I wondered if the ghost of Darko had taken possession of Rick Carlisle, and it was doing things, because this was just a game where I'm like, this is too much of Tony, not enough of Siakam. And again, the box plus minus, as I'm looking at it right now, it shows the game right there. Siakam was a -4, yes. Neesmith was a +6. But then you look at a guy like TJ McConnell, that's a -12. So yes, he's filling the ball in the hoop, but at some point it's like, what else are you doing? And so yeah, your guys' thoughts, and if you really want, Giovanni, I will give you one trade. I'll answer the one question that you asked about trade, but I want to focus on the finals.
Giovanni's watched basketball or just being in the transaction, but this
He's on 2K just now, so he's asking about us trading IQ to the Pacers somehow. I don't know how the heck we would do that, but sure. Because apparently they need IQ, because that's the problem. That's the solution to the TJ McConnell problem. The rebounding battle was fairly even. Even the assist battle, they played it fairly even. OKC won obviously the turnover battle, and that's where it lost, and that goes back to the point guard issues. So to Giovanni's point, yes, the Pacers will need to have some huge growth from Nembhard next year for sure. Your guys' thoughts?
Coach, you want to go first?
Don't worry, this won't be a super long live. Hey, Daniel Franklin.
Hey, your question was about who they need next year to step up?
Yeah. I'm assuming you don't want to talk about any sort of trade of
no, that's fine.
As soon as they get off the floor, it's like, oh, by the way.
Well, Indiana, they're in a similar place where OKC is, though. Like, they're still a fairly young team. You got Halliburton. I think he just turned 25. You got Mathurin. You got Nembhard, Walker. They're gonna have they have their pick, not this draft, but the next draft, which after tonight is a very good thing. So they still have lots of depth. They're going to come back next year. I actually thought Carlisle, for most of the playoffs, coached a really good series, good games. Tonight was not one of their good nights, that's for sure. They got to clean that up next year. And the East is more open now, quite honestly. But I still think they have enough depth to be competitive in the East. And, Boston's in the same boat as them. And they're still going to be – those two teams could be top 5 teams. I don't know if they're going to be at the top, but they're going to be hovering around that because they have so much depth. And now you're just getting this championship experience. Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's and the East is wide open. I do think it's tough because it's tough to get back here for either team, to be honest. I mean, the West just got tougher today.
Yes. For the record, people, I'm not drinking beer. It is an apple cider.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. Adult beverage apple cider or
no, just a regular one, non-alcoholic.
Okay. No judgment. No judgment.
Just in case people were wondering, like, coach is drinking because they lost. Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, so I think it's obviously it's a tough one. The final thing that I want to kind of go over is, the free throw numbers were also pretty equal. The Pacers actually shot the ball pretty well actually throughout it from deep. It's more inside where they could have pressed the advantage, and they unfortunately did not. They shot actually almost even, a little bit better in all these categories, 41 to 40 basically, and 39% from deep to 27. But again, when you're losing the possession battle, when you have, like, as I think it was Richard Jefferson that said basically, like, with Turner out there and Siakam on the bench, OKC feels more comfortable playing small. that's not a good thing. That's not a good sign. And so, it's just unfortunate. So yeah.
So I'm gonna get my 2 cents in before we shut this down here about Indiana.
Mhm.
Let me start with the game itself. I thought Rick Carlisle, and this is what I talk about. I always mention this thing you tweeted about it, but it's a phrase I like to mention: coaching zealots. Look, man, I understand you want to be all team and play 10 guys. Every man on the bench has some worth. I get that. But there's certain times where that cannot be what your philosophy is when you look at time and score and the game you're in. You're in a 2 to 3 possession game, and your star player is sitting on the bench, and you decide to sit most of your starting lineup, if not the entire starting lineup, and say, hey, we're going to give the keys to McConnell. I'm like, okay. And I'm going to just get on this rant on TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell's a fine player. But this agenda that was going on here, that I think Rick Carlisle got caught up in, as well as TJ McConnell, I'll put it out here right now. I thought TJ McConnell was gunning for MVP tonight. I'll put it out there. You give me the heat all you want. Because how he played tonight, that looked like a guy who was playing for self. I'm sorry. That's what it looked like. He was running no offense for anybody else. He wasn't setting up his teammates for anything. He was turning over the ball left, right, and center. I'm sorry, man. So he scored 12 points a quarter, but if you're giving up 12 points the other end, it don't help anybody. And for the media to sit down here, as I said before, I tweeted it out, is there some type of law or commandment where we can't criticize TJ McConnell? Is a joke. An absolute joke. And then,
I'm already hearing people say, why are we giving TJ McConnell so much flack? TJ McConnell balled out. He was supposed to score. I'm just telling you what people
cut it right there. I don't hear him. Cut it right there. Cut it right there. Here's the reason why I'm giving him slack. They had 21 freaking turnovers tonight. The only way Oklahoma City actually sustains offense is with turnovers. They feed off them. They feast off them.
21 turnovers. Yeah, exactly. Just like I always said. Yes. Yeah.
I want to make this clear. 21 freaking turnovers. Guess who had 1/3 of them? 1/3. For those that don't do math, that's 7. Who is that? TJ McConnell. That's who. Your favorite boy that they got showing off the tunnel. In this case, like he's freaking Michael Jordan after the game. What are we doing out here? We got TJ McConnell promo. You out here hugging his family and things like that. Yo, man, you're a bench player. And for the media in this case here to be soaking up this, and Rick Carlisle be soaking this up for the last 3 days, as if TJ McConnell in this case here is like, yeah, he's the reason why we're winning in this case here. No, dude, he's not. So that's the reason why in this case I'm ranting on TJ McConnell, because you all need to get the blinders off and say, it's TJ McConnell. Oh, shucks, it's Hoosiers all over again. No, dude, ain't Hoosiers. This is the big time. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Enough said.
And James says that I think that I agree. I mentioned Jarris Walker, but they really do need another offensive initiator off the bench. I don't know if they'll actually prioritize that, because apparently TJ McConnell is the Finals MVP, according to everyone who was whatever.
No, James is right on this. The offense, TJ may have got them through a couple of possessions there that was looking bad, but it was almost as if you could just so focus in on him. If he's going to do that, then how are the others going to get involved? Indiana's played a pretty selfless style of ball up until tonight. You have to get others involved.
Coach,
100%.
I couldn't believe I sat down and listened to the broadcast. Richard Jefferson, an NBA champion, a lottery pick, the All-American.
He rode LeBron's back for that, so I'm not getting
whatever the case may be.
Might well be Kenny the Jet Smith.
He is what he is. He had some big moments in that series. All I'm saying is he sat down there and said with a straight face, to your point, Coach, and somehow spun it in this case as a positive that, that TJ McConnell's not really a creator for other guys in this case here. So somehow Pascal and Nembhard have to do so. I'm sitting there like, can they get the ball? That would be nice. I watched like 3 possessions where he did dribble the ball for 20 seconds and not one person touched the ball.
So Pascal seals off Kaysen Wallace under the hoop. Okay? Clean open. He's there like this. And there's a wide open. And then both Nembhard as well as TJ McConnell at times had trouble turning the corner and looking at him. And you waste 3 seconds off the clock with that. And okay, he has to now get out of the post, otherwise it's a 3-second call. Like, this is why I'm saying, like, if you're gonna just put that all on the dude that's in the post, then like, what are we talking? And then yes, after that, Pascal, what does he do? He goes into the corner like Clay Thompson, because again, you missed the initial action. Well, if you then you have to execute the initial action. If Pascal is the one that's initiating the offense, that's a different story. But he's not. And when he's initiating the offense, you have to get him the ball where he needs it. I'm not just making this a Pascal thing. Okay, so those of you who may see this later on and think that that's what I'm making it. I'm not. I'm saying in terms of offensive initiation, you have point guards or guards or whatever, and you have to be able to initiate the offense. This is where Rick Carlisle needs to do his job better, and unfortunately, he needs to pull his guards together and say, TJ, what are you doing? Right? Because again, that's his man. You know, that's your boy. Then you got to pull him over, pull him aside, and say, what are you doing? You know,
Coach,
why is Obi Toppin bringing the ball up like he's Precious Achua?
you know why he's bringing the ball up in this case here? Because the other guy in this case is in panic mode. Let me ask you this, Coach, from a coaching perspective. All right. Now, as a kid, I play a little point guard myself, and there's certain things you didn't do as a point guard. In this case, do you go a dead man's corner, which is the half court in this case, the base, the half court line and the sideline? Is that a good place for a point guard to stop his dribble?
No, we call that coffin corner. Right, where half meets the sideline, and then you get the four corners in each corner inside the half. Call it coffin.
I learned that in basketball drills at 7 years old in this case here. Okay, next one, Coach. Your point guard is supposed to be a good decision maker. You come out with timeout. James already mentioned this one. You got to know what the 5-second count is, would you not? After a timeout.
Yeah, you do. Now, that play there, he didn't pass the ball because I think, I'm just taking a guess here, he didn't pass it in because he figured if he passed it right at the 5-second mark, it's a turnover. That's my feeling on that.
It was still a turnover.
It's still a turnover, yeah. But if he pass the ball in, they steal it. They go to the other end of the court. That's my guess on that. I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, but
do you have any timeouts left? There are timeouts.
That was in the third. Was that in the third quarter?
That was in the third quarter. I doubt they were out timeouts.
No, they weren't. But I don't know if he'd want to waste a timeout there.
You're the team that's down on the road. You need to value every possession you can get. You better call the timeout now because, as we learn later on, there was no time to get back. That was the moment. Once again,
but that was that third quarter that this all fell apart when they had McConnell, Neesmith, Ben Shepherd, Thomas Bryant, and Obi Toppin in the game. No Nemhard, no Mathurin, no Siakam, no Turner. That's ridiculous.
He also let, in my opinion, he let the in the third quarter, he kind of let the game slip away just in terms of timeout management as well. He should have called the timeout way before, because by the time I'm saying, "Oh, Rick, he really needs to call a timeout," it's too late.
Too late.
It should have been a minute and a half before then.
Yeah, the moment it got to 6 or 7, timeout. Like you can't get to 9 or 10. Timeout, man.
No, not against this team.
No.
OKC is way too good. Again, their defense was incredible. SGA and Jalen Williams, to an extent, emptied the clip.
You know,
they emptied the clip. Yeah, the coach didn't empty the clip. I'll tell you that. But
I'll go back to TJ one more time, because this is the part that people don't understand when they're watching these games. They might look at the box score. It's like 7 turnovers are bad enough. What we're not counting is all the bad quality possession or bad quality.
Yeah, where he's just going rogue and you miss out on like 3 easy possessions, or which would have been fast, which would have saved you more time to do more later.
Or grenades
or
he's giving the
2s for 3s. Yeah,
right. Or grenades he's giving at the shot clock running down. Those ones don't count as turnovers, but they might as well be. So, like, sorry, man. If there's one thing to my man Giovanni in this case here, if you want to talk trades, he's a dude that better look to move off of next year if they want to have a chance to win this championship.
And he does not make enough to trade for IQ, by the way. So yeah.
No, let's get serious on that, man. No, they just, like literally, Trey Jones is a free agent. Like if he's out there, that's what I'm talking about. Just a decent
Tyus Jones too.
Tyus Jones, like, any one of the Joneses. Just take a guy in this case here that can just run a damn offense. Holy smokes, man!
Yeah, they need to look at Chris Paul next year too. Just call him. See if he's interested.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
I don't have to worry about him running offense.
True, but Chris Paul has a certain way how he likes to play. I'm not sure that goes well with Rick Carlisle, so that's the only reason why I'm still hesitant on Chris Paul.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. That compare.
Yeah. But that third quarter really deflated the team when he went with those 5 guys out there. I think Neesmith was the only starter, and he had Thomas Bryant, and oh my gosh, some of those. I couldn't imagine doing that in a game 7. I could never imagine that.
The moment Halliburton went down, you have to look at your coaching staff or think to yourself as the coach, like, okay, at no time in this game that one of Nembhard or Siakam cannot be on the court.
Yes.
You have to stagger the minutes.
I have to stagger the minutes. One of those two got to be on the court. I can't have both of them sitting down.
For all the flack that guys like Nick Nurse and Tibbs get, and I'm not saying that they're offensive gurus, but sometimes just simplifying the game for yourself. We talk about it with players, right? Simplify your handle, simplify the footwork. Sometimes as a coach, you got to simplify the game for yourself, right? Like just play the dudes, the best dudes. Sometimes involve your best dudes with actions. And to your point, yeah, I mean, up until really up until the third quarter, they were fine. I don't know what the heck happened in the third quarter, but I mean, because even in the third quarter, the game had not slipped away yet. It had not.
At one point
they were in this game.
Yeah, it's like something like 56-56 at one point. SGA hits a 3 over Siakam, make it 59-56. And then I think Siakam went on the bench as well as the group that coach talked about, and it went all to hell at that point.
Siakam sat way too long in the second half.
This is how many times we saw this in the series. Happened in game 4.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, okay, this game's getting away. They're creeping back in the game. They're creeping back in the game. And he's sitting here with Siakam. Siakam shows up with about 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
Daniel Frank, they're supposed to. They usually do at some point, and OKC at some points. If you actually look through this series, they started going down. If it's like if your name didn't go with Wallace on the thing, that's 1, 2. Yeah, there were 7. That was the 7th guy was Casey.
Man, right now Isaiah Joe's on a milk carton right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. That's the point. Yeah, that dude.
Yeah. You and I were talking about I said like the other Jalen Williams did not play today.
Did not play tonight.
Didn't touch the floor.
No,
you guys don't care if it's a championship game or not. Right. No. This ain't you. Ain't Patrick McCaw.
This ain't it. Like we just out here playing game 32 of the season in Sacramento. This is not it.
No. Yeah.
It was just Case and Wallace and Caruso. Those are the only the 2 off the bench. That's it. That played.
No. People did say that just to touch on the future because people like to talk about the future. So even though there's no time like the present. I'll say this. Number one, yes, the East is more wide open. However, we don't own the Pacers pick anymore. They own it themselves.
Please listen to the Raptors talk at this point, man. It's almost insulting to these two teams.
It is insulting to the finals, but yeah. The second thing that I'll say, just from a Pacers standpoint, they could there are ways for them to get back into it, so I wouldn't just count them out. Depending on how long Hal is injured, I don't want to talk about his injury in depth until we get the actual thing. But depending on what it is, they could get a disabled player exception if he will be actually that injured. Hopefully he is not. Hopefully he's back soon, and then that gives them 50% of his salary, and then they can go and be a player in either trades or free agency and stuff like that. So I wouldn't count them out. It's going to be very interesting. There are ways that they can get back here. But either way, they're still a solid team.
But I got 2 guys here. It'd be interesting to get their thoughts on this. But at some point, the NBA is going to have a talk and a decision on what they're doing with these players.
You're talking about
because someone posted today just now. I retweeted it. We're in these playoff runs and 3 guys with Achilles injuries.
Yeah.
In this playoffs.
Yeah.
And not grunts down the street. In this case, playing the 9th or the 10th role. These are major guys that you put on your billboards. And at some point, someone's going to have the discussion like, you know what? Maybe we are trying to push this thing too far with how many possessions. Maybe we're going a little too far how many threes we're shooting.
So Siakam is just reflecting. This is just from what he was saying. He's reflecting on the past year. And he said that basketball was really dark for him. He said he lost the joy for the game. He said it wasn't really fun. He said, but joining the Pacers, starting with Halliburton, he said that changed a lot of that.
He's right.
That's
right.
playing with this bunch, this organization, yeah.
I agree.
I don't think anyone's losing sleep. You see OG losing sleep. OG left and he never turned back. He's like, it's been fun, guys.
What he had to go through with Nick Nurse by playing 40 minutes, making the popcorns beyond says,
and then getting forgotten about by a guy that had to have his assistant steal synergy tape from the Knicks.
Yep, and then fighting with Nurse, and then having Darko put him in the corner like he's Klay Thompson, using him as a spacer. I can imagine he was not in the best basketball space at that moment in time. I can 100% believe that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's very interesting. Will, I'm not sure if you're referring to Carlisle and his last stops, or if you're referring to something else, but it's all gravy, dude. It's all gravy, man.
Yeah, knowing me, I'm a Mavericks fan. I'm a beloved, bad boy Pistons fan. Believe me, I know the Carlisle experience very well.
We'll go for a little bit longer, but not like the night before. Daniel Frank also said Fox. I don't know, man. They just got Fox. I think that they're going to roll with that, and we'll see. It really depends on a lot. I think that they have to, just like Ingram, they have to see what they have first.
There's some irony. If that were to happen.
True. Pascal or Cool Cato, welcome. By the way, Siakam reflecting. Actually, I just mentioned that. Thank you for sharing that actually with me. I just put that on screen. So,
your next comment's more revealing.
It is more revealing, and they should. So yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. I do want to hear what SGA has to say. I'm actually really, like I said, it's going to be bittersweet either way. And I'm happy the SGA won. I'm happy that the Canadians won. There was going to be a Canadian winning either way, but I'm really happy that OKC won, because I think a lot of people doubted them even from the jump of the season. I had them being at this point. I switched my stuff last minute. I went with my heart, and unfortunately Rick let me down. But but in terms of the overall thing, I do think that this was an incredible 7-game series, and Shea on down. I'm not going to go through their entire roster. They should be proud. This is a special feat. Youngest team to ever win in the NBA.
I think that maybe as a summary about Canada basketball, like where does this take the future of Canada basketball as far as what we're seeing, like young players coming up? Like, I mean, the sky's the limit,
man. 2028. I mean, we have the best player in the world officially as of today. He not only got he's the king of the mountaintop for regular season, but he also got the championship too.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of like not even like 2028, but more like kids are watching him now, right? We saw the impact Vince Carter had with this team or with this country. Steve Nash to some extent as well too. To see now SGA, to your point, is the best player in the world at this point. Like that's a different level than those two dudes.
Here's something that is interesting as well. Everybody mimics the team that wins the title. Jokic and Embiid, they kind of brought back the big guy a little bit. SGA is bringing back the mid-range game. There ain't nobody that shoots the mid-range probably better right now in the NBA than him. I think he can help bring that back. Obviously, they shoot a ton of threes as well. But the number one defense in the league this year was OKC. So you have defense, and you have guys who can make playoff shots, and you have some length. You got a shot.
Yeah.
Coach, the dirty little secret is, and all these data hacks that like to tell you, the mid-range never went anywhere.
Oh, I agree. No. Yeah, it was still
right there. Even Boston last year win the championship.
I told you there's never and you not that you disagree with me, but there's never been a team to ever win it without a solid mid-range shooter. That includes Golden State, the first Golden State too.
Exactly. Even Jaylen Brown last year was a mid-range assassin for Boston that kept and sustained them offensively.
Because you need that consistent mid-range threat to be able to sustain you when things die down, when as they say, the rim gets smaller and all that type of stuff. You need to be able to get those quote unquote playoff shots. SGA's. I'm assuming that you mean the OKC Thunder, not the Pacers. But in terms of SGA, yeah, I mean he's gonna get paid. But number one, the league is going up 10% each year over year. Number two, OKC's financial situation is in a great place. I mean, and on top of that, I mean, because they have so many damn draft picks, like I want to just, plus I mentioned that the fact that Chet's probably not going to get a max because of his injury issues. It just really comes down to this. They don't have to worry about this for 2 years. Like this is a tomorrow issue, right? Why are they worried about this when they could their focus right now should be relaxing and partying, and then next year should be repeating. And guess what? They can do it again. They have a chance to actually three-peat, which will be very damn near impossible in a new era. Just from a financial side of things and keeping things together,
and a youth standpoint too. That's the biggest thing.
Now, do they three-peat? I don't know. You got to get through the next year first, see what happens, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot, but I'm just saying, just from a financial and their window, they have a 3-year window at minimum, which is special in this year. And then like beyond that, like we'll see. Like that's 2 years down the line. So I the one thing that I would suggest to people is, I know every single person likes to look 2 years. People are already talking about Grady's money, and it's like Grady's a 3rd-year player, for example. We ain't talking about extension. Let's get him into next year, see what he looks like, kind of thing. Not put the cart before the horse. Canada basketball needs a front court. Absolutely.
Yes, they go. It's going to be tough with France out there for even the Americans, quite honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know who the Americans even have coming for a front court.
That's a good question, because I don't know if in 2028, if AD has one more run in him, he might.
I don't know.
But, maybe it's Scotty. I'm just kidding.
They'll have Triple J. They'll have Cooper Flag. They'll have they'll have who else? I'm forgetting. They have another center coming up. Who else? I'm forgetting. Somebody else.
Embiid. I'm just kidding.
US will be fine. In other words, US will be fine.
Yeah. I mean, they are also thin on the front court, but they have enough wing players that are bigger that can definitely.
Yeah, I'm talking about bigs though, and from the
bigs,
some of those countries, Americans.
This is where Zach Edey
get tough.
Is going to be nice during that
time. We don't know.
So.
Yeah, it depends on development of guys like Klingon, right? Like what Klingon looks like in 4 years' time.
Good luck dealing with Wemby and Sarr in 2028.
True. Okay, so Coach Carlisle and they have the same with their point guard. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, like from that standpoint, especially when Hallie's out, like it's like you're too trusting of your point guard, or you're trusting in the wrong point guard. You probably should have had more trust in Nembhard to. I mean, Nembhard's not like the ideal candidate, but like you have enough. And to be honest, it comes down to it is that like you got to teach guys how to get a post entry pass and then just run offense to the post at that point. I mean, I don't care if it's like, you're missing some shots. Just go over Case and Wallace every single time and see what happens. You take that gamble. Congratulations on SGA for, yes, absolutely. It is one for the ages. And he will definitely be in the Canadian Basketball Hall of Fame as of today. He's got a long career, so I'm not going to talk about the Basketball Hall of Fame. But he's definitely the best Canadian basketball player on the planet ever at this point as of today.
Oh, I think he's in the Hall of Fame. If SGA's career stopped right here today, if he said, I'm retiring, I ain't coming back, he's in. I think he is, 100%.
I guess because he's Canadian, he has the gold medal. Oh, sorry, the silver medal. He has the world.
I just think if you win a title, you're the guy. You won an MVP. You've won the Eastern Conference MVP, Finals MVP. I think if you get one of those things, I think you're eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Okay, fair enough. Because I was going to bring up Derrick Rose, but then when you said Finals MVP and champion stuff, I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
I just
fair enough, fair enough. Triple J, yeah. Tatum's another one, but he's not really a front, like a true front court player, so that's the thing. Yeah, mid range is critical to it. I mean, like, and that's the thing, right? A lot of people are just trying to do threes and layups. They talk about almost like the Pacers, where it's like threes and layups, and it's like you need a good mid range guy. Now, the one thing is that the Pacers probably didn't rely on their mid range guys enough. And also, it would have been nice to get something from Turner. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about? Because there's not really too much to kind of. I think we've kind of gleaned over all of the key aspects of this game. We kind of give shouts out to like Casey Wallace. I think we already talked about Alex Caruso and stuff like
I
that.
look forward to NBC next season. Let's put it that way. I can't wait when they get the finals. I can't
That
wait.
is true. The coverage from a media standpoint was pretty bad, to be perfectly honest.
It was abysmal.
Yeah,
it was abysmal.
You had Chuck Swirsky, who, bless his heart, was rightfully like going at Stephen A. Smith for being like, "Why are you playing solitaire the entire time? Right? Why is there a tunnel walk and stuff like that?" Where it is making it more about him than anything else. So yeah.
Tonight is him. Bob Myers just ripping on saying, "Why are you just talking loud in this case here when you ain't saying nothing?" Essentially, that was the big highlight from their pregame show. I mean, like, people want to jump on Malik. I was like, Malik can't do nothing much with these guys. Like, I mean, it's such a bad, it's such a bad quartet. At least the three guys she has with her. It's like no host can help that group. No host.
Well, and here's the other thing to Coach's point earlier, and I agree with you, by the way, about the broadcast. The broadcast was just trash the whole time, and I am actually excited. We'll actually end on that note, but before I get to that, I'll just say this. OKC not only has the 14th pick or 15th pick, I think, as
it's 14 and 25, or is it 15 and 24?
Which are, they have two picks. I think it's 15 and 24.
24.
Yeah,
I should know this because we talked about this earlier. So yeah. But yeah. So I mean, again, for those of you who are wondering how are they going to keep it together and stuff, you can afford like multiple max players. It's when you can only afford two supermaxes, but I don't know if two guys are going to get the supermax on that deal. I know Shea is going to get it. I don't know about the other guys. Williams could be eligible for it, but that's for him and his representation to figure out. That's a tomorrow issue. For now, he is making about the same as Ochai Obaji next year. To put things in perspective.
Wow. Yeah, but what Beyond said earlier, though, about the new generation of NBA players coming up. I mean, SGA is right at the head of the table right now. And what this means for Canada basketball, not just SGA. When you see Mathurin and Dort and Nemhard, that means a lot for Canada basketball. I mean, when I was growing up before the year 2000 and stuff like that, I mean, well, much of anything, it was Leo Routins and there's this guy who's pretty good named Steve Nash coming up. And now it's there's been so many players that are coming through. We got a kid coming in the draft this year who's going to go in the first round. Canada basketball's in good shape.
Well, and to touch on this point, this shifts over to not only Canada basketball, but how they talk about the game. It's like, I agree. I do understand that all NBA is important. They do need to uncouple awards from the financial aspect of the game. However, what I will say is this. Moving forward, I'm so excited for next year's broadcast. I really am, to Beyond's point, because to me, I even listened to how Amazon does the WNBA, for example, and they actually tell stories about the market and what's going on and how Indiana came to be a basketball market like that. These are more interesting and also more. Yes, I know not everyone likes to learn, but it is more educational, and I like educational stuff. And I think that that's how you grow the game, not just in the short term, but for the long term, and you create long-term fans where people feel like they're part of the game. Like it really resonates with them in terms of what's going on. And I agree with you. Like, yes, I understand that there's an all NBA stuff, but you see it on online where people are so obsessed with, well, this player is better than this player. and it's like the player's not even playing in the NBA finals. We're in the NBA finals, and we're talking about people that aren't there. I mean, it's like, my goodness. So at some point, like what is it? There's things that I've been a part of, listening to people talk about, like, point guards that aren't, are like Trey Young. And it's like, why am I talking about Trey Young when he's not in? He didn't make the playoffs. Like, this is the problem, and you have to look and see how they're doing it, and you have to be excited about the fact that NBC has the infrastructure, has the vested interest to make sure that every market is propped up, and to be honest, to not make it about player versus player. I think that that's where we went wrong, and I think that that's where the next era of the NBA looks to do better.
I go one step further. I don't think that NBC nor Amazon's going to do what these current broadcasts are doing. They're not going to make the story about them. That's the biggest issue, right?
Yeah, I don't need him. I don't need, like, I don't know. Is Michael Jordan on the NBC or
NBC?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want Michael Jordan on a trampoline or something like that, or being like, well, if I was in this, I would have done this better. Like, I don't think that he'll do it, but I hope he doesn't do that. If he does that, get him out of it.
Yeah, I doubt if Michael Jordan will go down that path.
No.
I don't think so. He doesn't need to be honest.
I think both NBC and Amazon are looking for to go back to storytelling and making it about the product and building up the actual product, the players, the markets, and the history of the game.
You know who's good for this? Rest his soul, Kobe. He, with his detailed series with ESPN, where he was just kind of like looking and breaking down the players' games. It was just pure raw basketball, just like,
And I think LeBron's trying to do that a little bit with his Minding the Gap is a similar principle with that, where it's like, it's about basketball. And I know a lot of these guys feel threatened because it's like, oh, what, it's not about, oh, who's a superstar, who's not a superstar, or I'm trying to get into a feud in this case, like it's WWE. Like, no, dude, it's a sports. And I'll say it right now. Most of these folks on here are Hoops fans. I don't know if there's sports or other types of sports. I watch a lot of different sports.
I agree.
Across the board. Now, there is no discourse, no discussions absolutely as bad as basketball discourse. I tell you that right now. As a purveyor in this case here.
It's worse than politics, to be honest.
Honestly, it's right there with it. Worse than anything in baseball, hockey, football, cricket, golf, tennis, you name it. Nothing is worse than basketball discourse. By far. No one, I said it to you guys once before, I say it once again. Connor McDavid in this case played for the same team as Wayne Gretzky. You would not hear Wayne Gretzky's name mentioned unless he broke a record.
I did not hear Wayne's name.
That's my point. Wayne's name does not get mentioned. Edmonton's been in the Stanley Cup twice now. And his name doesn't get mentioned unless he broke a Gretzky record, which that's it. That's all. No one's asking anything more than that. That's it. I sit here and watch golf all the time. You would not know Tiger Woods existed if you watch golf today. No one mentioned Tiger Woods' name at all. That's what I'm saying. They move on to who is the dudes now.
Well, and that's how you know that the game is focused on building a healthy product. And the NBA has a very healthy product.
Right. That's the thing. Of all these sports I'm talking about,
you don't got to do all this. You don't have to dig in the barrel for like random crap. The thing is right. Like we've compared it to like fast food, where it's like I think a lot of people, because they've been fed the fast food for the longest time, they don't really know what is good food, what's a quality. You know, like all of a sudden you go from McDonald's, you have a filet mignon, and you're like, oh damn, it's you see the meme where the guy says like you've been living like this, right? It's like that kind of thing.
And I think somehow, I don't know, these guys that have been here, I don't know if it's jealousy, I don't know if it's just wanting to be relevant, I don't know what it is, ego, but they seem to want to insert themselves and insert their era into things that don't need to be inserted into. As I said before, I watched the French Open a couple weeks ago. One of the best French Open finals I've ever seen on those 2 days. No one's going around saying, okay, Coco Gauff won the French Open championship, but she ain't Serena. No one's talking Serena. It's Coco's time. No one's talking Serena. Serena's arguably the best women's player ever. She just left like 2 years ago, and no one's talking about her when they talk about things.
The other thing that I'll say, just really quickly, We'll get into this another time, but just to like set the stage. I mean, I've talked a little bit. I know that people are talking about shortening the season. I don't know if you necessarily need to do that, but I do think that the NBA needs to move toward slowing the pace of the game down. I think the game
Mm-hmm.
is too fast, and that leads. You can have an 82 game season, but when you're having like 100 possessions in the game and you're cranking it up by 10 to 15 possessions at this pace, more per game, it can get dangerous and it can lead to more. I'm just reading off the things. I saw this on Twitter, but it was some of the injuries that happened this year. And this is not an all-inclusive list, I don't think, but Tyrese Halliburton, Tatum, DeJounte Murray, Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard. A lot of these are like Achilles, right, torn Achilles
I
tendons.
say, I think almost all those are non-contact.
Yes, Isaiah Jackson,
Another guy
James
Indiana
Wiseman.
lost.
Yeah, James Wiseman is another guy that didn't.
No, but Jackson too.
That's the kid
Oh
guy,
yeah.
He was in the rotation the whole year.
That's
But they had to
another
go
one.
get Thomas Bryant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grant Williams, of course. DeAnthony Melton, he went down very early in the season. Drew Smith, a lot of these are Achilles, ACLs. It's not even a meniscus tear here. And Mo Wagner as well.
Somehow, the guys of this size weren't meant to be moving that dramatically left, right, and center and covering that much space. So either I agree with Reese. Maybe in this case here, you got to let the defense get some more hands on some folks to slow things down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for those who are suggesting that hockey is different or hockey is more tough and rumble than basketball, I don't think that it's that. I mean, I've tried to explain this to people before. When you are stopping and starting on the ice in and of itself has a built-in surface that allows you to slide and absorbs basically the amount of pressure and forces that you're putting into the ground. That helps you to actually, that's why you see different injuries. Not saying that you can't get those injuries, but yeah. Whereas on a basketball court, when you put your foot down to stop, if you do the equivalent of a hockey stop, you're having to put more forces generated to stop and shift yourself the other way.
Yeah, beyond in the 80s and 90s, though, maybe more so than not. There wasn't as many Achilles tears, was there?
No, it's more back injuries.
Style of play is back injuries, right? Because there's so much post play, and guys didn't have to move around much, right? So you look at the distance of where a guy had to travel. It was literally just coming from the 3-point line down to double the post player, right? Because I gave hopeful the discussion of like Charles Barkley's pound, which is essentially his rule. Charles Barkley's pounding the ball for 8 seconds, and he's dribbling. On the fourth dribble, okay, send the double to Charles. Guy comes down from the 3-point line. He kicks it out to his guy, and maybe you might get one pass over to Danny Ainge from Marley, and boom, and that's it.
There's more cutting and change of direction too.
You see a guy now get a ball and he gets in the post in this case. And that ball's getting whipped around to the far side of the other corner. That means every guy's got to rotate on defense to get out there. You got sometimes 6'9", 7-foot guys in this case, like Sarr running out to the 3-point line. If you're doing that for 82 games a season and then add playoffs to it, never mind preseason games, never mind Olympic games or international games, at some point, the body can't take it for someone that size, man. And I don't know when these guys are going to realize it. It's like, dude, we can't keep doing this. If they like, we supposedly have all this great modern science. You got the damn doctor for every single dude in the team, and yet somehow we're getting more injuries. And by the way, I agree with that comment. Sinead is like one of the few golden bright spots on that whole broadcast. Too bad we don't see more.
So I think that is a pod. I want to say thank you to all of those who are listening. Like and comment and subscribe, or one of the 3 at least. If you like this content, we filmed a draft thing earlier, so don't worry, Giovanni, if you are still around. There will be draft talk. There is actually trade talk, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, and Beyond is shouting out his. What is this? What is this?
This is a custom-made shirt from a company in this case here in the city, representing the T-Dot.
Okay,
very nice.
So you're representing there. Technically, it's a Hamilton boy, but no disrespect to Steel City, man. We were absorbing it for that. Sorry, Steel City. We'll absorb it.
Coach, anything you want to say before we head out and Beyond you too?
Draft
Go
is
ahead.
coming up Wednesday. When I'm watching the draft, I'll make sure I have my RJ Barrett jersey on. Might be the last time that I get a chance to wear it while he's on the Raptors. So
Yes.
I guess I better wear it now.
I will be doing more. I don't know these guys' schedules, but I'll speak for myself. If you want to see more of this stuff, be prepared. I will be doing summer league recaps for the majority of the games right after. So stay tuned and stay locked in. Just a real quick thing: tomorrow and the next day and the next day after that, if you are in the GTA, it's going to be about 32 degrees, and it's probably going to feel like it's 40. Please stay hydrated, people. That this type of stuff is very, very important. I do think that people's health is important, so it's kind of a public service announcement. And stay well and enjoy hoops, people. So yeah.
No comment, James.
Yes.
Yeah. One thing I just want to say quickly, for guys here listening, and anyone's listening to sound of my voice later on the next couple of days, this was a fantastic NBA season overall. We got to see a lot of young players breaking out, and we got to see new teams and new discussions. I'm hoping in this case this momentum continues as we discuss the broadcasting, but the things are changing next year. I think the league in itself is in a healthy place. It's in a great place. I would just say this, guys, be positive a little bit. The league's in a good spot. We have a lot of great young.
I feel great. I mean, it's
and just and we have great players from all different parts, not just the world, but of different eras. I'm looking forward to the last couple of years of LeBron. I love it. Same way it's Curry and the rest of them. I'm curious to see what
those last few years by some of these guys that are now getting older.
It's
like when it's gone, and so that's that. No, I mean, and honestly, we're going to be covering it throughout, so I shouldn't even be sounding like it's a goodbye thing because I'm probably going to talk to you guys later. But, covering the season with you guys, I think this is the second year that we've done it in total, from like start to finish. It's been a blessing. It's been great. So, it's been great. Hopefully the audience continues to like it, and that is that. So yeah, everyone take care and peace.